Hello, welcome back to the channel. Sitting here a moment ago, just put out yesterday a video for the Necromancer Challenge Dungeon build, and I thought, why not, let's go over the affixes for the dungeons. You know, there are some real good ones, some real bad ones that we've all experienced. Now, where do we find them if you want to have a look down the list? Quite easy, Height Finder, and then you go into where it says difficulty challenge, hit this little icon, and you've got the overview of the whole kind of list. We'll make this a quick video. There's not too much to go in depth with, but I would like you to go into the comments and add one that you would like to see added to the game. I think there's many more that they could add, and some of these they could probably take away, but let's start with the ones that you would like to see added to the game to make the dungeons a bit more difficult. Now, the first one we're going to look at is a big problem. Enemies are going to be larger, your size is decreased, you know, the bosses are going to grow in size until they enrage. You know, this one's cool, especially if it's tied in with the other affix, which is the S-class. You've got these huge monsters while you're running around and you're tiny. Absolutely hilarious, especially when you're using the build, say for instance the Necromancer one that I put out yesterday. There's just the numbers are flying absolutely everywhere. Now, the next one, laser. Enemies fire beams of energy at targets. I can't really say that I've noticed the damage coming from this one and hitting me. It's not really that much of a big deal. I see the effects, but maybe to make it more dangerous, they could increase the damage that it does. The worst one of all, Sacrificial power. Your skills have a greatly reduced cooldown, but they cost health when you use them. Now, for classes like myself, Necromancer, very spammy class, you're going to be spamming them skills because that's what's built into us to do since the release of the game. And now we have to watch ourselves because it's going to cost us health. The amount of times I've died to this one, especially when it's tied in with a gauntlet. You know, dungeons have no normal monsters, but the bosses are stronger. You go against some of them bosses, especially say Butcher, absolute nightmare. I've had numerous groups fall apart in the random dungeons simply because of these two affixes together. Absolutely horrible. Now, the next one in the list, Bad Blood. Yeah, it can be annoying. Enemies are going to leave these pools of blood around after they die, which is going to slow you and damage you. Can't say I've really noticed this one. You're not really standing in one place too much when it comes to speeding through these challenge dungeons. You're just running through, killing everything in your path. Bolstered. You notice it when you're going through. They have kind of, yeah, an increased movement speed, attack speed for the nearby monsters that are close to this one with the aura. And they do have a shield. They could do more with this one to make it more difficult. It's a cooler fix. Rain of fire. The fireballs occasionally fall from the sky and leave a burning area that will damage you when you're running around. Again, make it more dangerous. If they really want this to be one that kind of scares us, which it should be, why doesn't it do more damage? I still like the effects, and I think it's cool to watch out for stuff that's on the floor. It gives us that kind of a bit something to worry about while you're speeding through these dungeons, especially if you're on a long boss fight, maybe in a small area with some elite packs, can be quite annoying. The same goes for lava eruption. The amount of times this has actually killed me while we've got a massive group of enemies together, and I've not even noticed it on the floor. I do notice that sometimes this comes up in a group of 3 or 2. I don't know if it just comes up as a single one, but yeah, it's definitely caught me out a number of times. Speedrun. What can I say? Speedrun, you've got to do it within a timer to get an extra reward. They could actually decrease the time to make us do it faster. I feel maybe they could add in a secondary reward. So if you complete it in a very good amount of time, you know, compared to the time limit, you know, you get a double of rewards, you know, and maybe have a leaderboard for this. Swarming. Normal monsters throughout, you know, yeah, it's cool. Maybe make normal monsters do more damage as well. They're swarming together, they boost each other's damage. That would be kind of a cool addition. But overall, more monsters means more XP, you know, more things to do loads of damage to. I'm fine with that. My favorite one, S-class, more elite monsters throughout. Now, like I said before, if this is tied with the first one, you're in for a fun time. You know, you're really small. These monsters are huge. And yeah, what can I say? Numbers are absolutely flying everywhere. Gauntlet. I feel that with some of the builds that we've are being set up, they don't always have a kind of a movement speed, and some free-to-play players or low spenders may not have the movement speed. Maybe they could add a movement speed buff onto this when you do get Gauntlet, 25%, you know, movement speed, so you can get to the bosses quicker. Heightened senses. Monsters are going to sense us more easily and have a greater increased movement speed. I can't even say that I've noticed this one either. I would say it's a cool affix. Maybe they could increase attack speed for the monsters as well. Or maybe they could just jump out on us. They're invisible to us. Yeah, that would be kind of a cool thing to add. Conjuror. Monsters and bosses both can have doppelgangers. Now this can be annoying when paired with Gauntlet. Seen it happen, and yeah, it can be horrible depending on the boss. Another really cool affix. Greed spoils. We've been doing this one for ages. Go into a dungeon, you get greed spoils, you go to the boss. The boss is going to have increased health, you get a reward. And Bountiful. Combat orbs drop more frequently. I can't say that I've really noticed this one. It would be kind of cool to see them kind of having more different combat orbs go throughout this dungeon, maybe. Maybe some negative rewards from the combat orbs. You know, for if you hit one of these negative impact orbs, you get 50% increased on your cooldowns. So you have kind of a harder time throughout the dungeon. And that would be kind of a cool affix to add to that. But overall, I would say these affixes and the challenge dungeons in themselves have made the game feel much more alive, and I'm more than impressed with what they've done for this patch. I hope they carry on with increasing the amount of affixes they can add to this. Maybe bring them affixes into other gameplays as well. In the open world, they could even have areas that have these affixes. There's so much they could potentially do, and I hope they do in the future. But if anything's to go by the patch they've added this December, next year we should be in for a hell of a ride when it comes to more content and great content. You know, we had the little thing from the devs the other day that said about a new class and about some new modes. Very excited for those. So all in all, it's looking very promising for 2025. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there, and we'll see you in the next one.